Hello there, everybody. I hope you've all had a wonderful work week. So a huge leader has decided to drop out of a major Oh, wait a minute. I don't mean that campaign. No, you thought no, I mean, that's news too, but no, I mean another campaign, another major, anyway. This week, Google has decided to say, hey, remember third-party cookies? You know, those things that we've been telling you for 4 years we're going to take away because, we care about privacy and all that kind of, remember that? Yeah, just kidding. We're actually going to keep them after all. Now, wait a minute, you might be just saying, can they actually do that? I mean, entire companies have been launched in recent years taking advantage of what they've been calling the cookieless future. Marketing pundits like, yours truly have been saying for years that the cookieless future is here. It's already here. You need to deal with it. And now we're all just wrong. Google gave it the old college try, they said. They tried to climb the mountain. They tried to give it a go. As the joke might say, Google brought a ladder to the bar, but then realized the drinks weren't on the house after all. I know what I did there. Anyway, you want to know more and maybe get a few more dad jokes along the way? Yeah, well, let's break out the Cookie Monster memes and see how it all crumbles. This is a few minutes of what's new in marketing that might help you lead your business's strategy. Let's roll. Hello, everybody. Robert Rose here with What's New in Marketing. It is about what's new in marketing, but most importantly, it's something important in marketing that we think may help you become a better leader. And if we can help you or your team with content marketing services, including custom training, consultation, ongoing implementation of your content marketing approach, get on over there to contentmarketinginstitute.com, fill out that form, and let us know, won't you? All right, so breaking news this week. Well, it's shaking up the world of digital advertising and marketing. In a blog post on Monday, Google announced it's calling a, quote, updated approach to, elevate user choice. And they announced that they will end their effort to deprecate the third-party cookie and get it out of Chrome. And instead simply, quote, let people make informed choices that applies across their web browsing. In other words, the customer knows best. Now, wait a minute. I think I've heard that before. In fact, I think I've heard this sort of mea culpa exactly before. Go all the way back in time to 1985. It was the president of Coca-Cola talking about their recognition that New Coke, it was a bad idea.
Some critics will say Coca-Cola has made a marketing mistake. And some cynics say that we planned the whole thing. The truth is, we're not that dumb, and we're not that smart.
But aren't they? I mean, aren't they that smart, or aren't they that dumb? I don't know. If you haven't followed along in this drama for the last 4 years, well, first of all, it turns out that you're better off for it because you haven't missed anything. Basically, Google is reversing course here on a promise that it made in 2020 to get rid of the third-party cookie in Chrome, thus making consumer privacy a true priority like many of their competitors have. And it puts a huge emphasis on how marketers and advertisers could accomplish things like personalized content, targeted advertising across sites and social media, even doing lookalike targeting based on browsing behavior. Now, if you followed us here at Content Marketing Institute for any amount of time, you'll know this is something that I've spoken on quite a bit. I spoke about it in May of this year and how Google was again delaying the decision to do it again and again and again for the third time in as many years. I spoke about it in February when they discussed the privacy sandbox and the tests that were going on and all these, quote, promising, end quote, experiences that they were creating for advertisers without the third-party cookie. I spoke about it in March of this year when the IAB issued their report saying marketers were kind of nonplussed about the whole third-party cookie thing. They didn't really believe it was going away. I mean, that's probably the smartest thing ever, right? The marketers sort of went, we don't believe it's happening, and turns out they were right. I spoke about it again in January of 2024 when Google actually started testing a meaningful percentage of browsers without the third-party cookie enabled. And so on and so forth, going all the way back to January of 2020 when I first noted that Google was going to embark on this grand adventure of ending the third-party cookie in web browsing. I'm not going to lie. Today, well, it feels a little bit like Rutger Hauer at the end of Blade Runner. I've seen things that you people wouldn't believe. Attack browsers off the shoulder of Firefox and Opera. I've watched cookies burn and brand privacy glitter in the right rail of publishers' websites. All those memories, like tears in the rain. Anyway, I'm not going to win an Academy Award anytime soon, but what's the ultimate takeaway here for marketers? Well, in my mind, it doesn't take away from the importance of getting your first-party data house in order. As I've said before, this has always been a good idea and remains a good idea whether or not the Google ecosystem becomes the only place we can target or not. As marketers, it means that personalization based on consumption data across social media, across websites, other media, well, it looks like it's here to stay for the Chrome browser anyway. Just as a data point, when Apple turned personalized ads into a you gotta opt in for it option, only 25% of their users will opt into those personalized ads. If it's opt out, meaning you have to proactively set the browser to not track you, well, the numbers are exactly reversed. Only 23% have proactively set their browsers that way. And Google will almost assuredly make it an option that you have to turn off, not turn on. And so ultimately, is this good for us as marketers, or is it bad for us as marketers? Well, it's assuredly bad for all those technology solutions that were paving the way for marketing and advertising in a cookieless future. So no more data clean rooms, I guess, and all of those sort of agita that we sort of generated by getting all worked up about a cookieless future. But ultimately, I think this may be a short-term thing as well. I mean, just in case you forgot, there is an election coming up in a few months, and depending on which side wins, well, privacy legislation may finally come to the US and settle this one way or another. In this way, Google could kind of have it both ways. They could get the benefits they would have gotten by ending the third-party cookie, meaning you can only target those people in their ecosystem, and they can safely claim, hey, it's not our fault, it's the legislation. So I don't think the story of the third-party cookie deprecation is completely dead yet. But you know, you may want to keep my record in mind here and make up your own. And that, well, that's a few minutes of what's new in marketing. Remember, it's your story to tell. Go get yourself some cookies and tell it well. I'll see you next week.